We are up to the Gemara of Kuf Ein Hey Amid Beis. We're up to the last plot of Masechta Bava Basra. And Mr. will make a sim today. And so the last thing we're learning all about an Arav as to when an Arav becomes responsible. And the Mishnah said if an Arav is signed on the document after the star already, after the Adam signed, the Arav was written down there, then all you do is you collect from his own assets. You don't go to anywhere else. And then we tell a story about Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbanan said, L'chayda, if he was only like an afterthought, you shouldn't collect anything at all from him. And he gave an example of somebody, let's say a lender went and was strangling the borrower for refusing to pay. And a passerby says, hey, let him go and I'll take care of it. Isn't the din that he doesn't have to pay because he didn't lend the money on account of him? And the same thing over here. Because he was an afterthought, you didn't lend the money because of him. Why should he even be committed? Why should he be responsible? And Rabbi Shmuel couldn't stop lording. Rabbi Shmuel couldn't stop complimenting. I gave you some there. On your Bava Basra. There's no Bava Basra here. No, sorry. I got you to get your Bava Basra. Okay, so what it says here in the bottom of the page. So we had a machlekes whether she buddha the rice or not. We had the Rabbi Shmuel that said that a milva al peh, if it's an oral loan, you don't collect at all, not from Yoshin, not from ears, and not from lekuches, because shibuda is not from the Torah. And Rabbi Yechon and Reish Lakish hold that shibuda the rice, so you collect from everybody, even if it's an oral loan. Nevertheless, you still collect from the ears and you collect from lekuches. That's what Gemara says. So we asked now a question. We're up to the bottom of the page. Mace about 5 lines to the bottom of the page. Mace, ask a question. Let's say Shimon is digging a hole in the Shusarabim. The Nafal Olav Shoid, a guy's digging a hole in Shusarabim, and while he was digging the hole, which he had no right to, a Shoid fell on top of him. And of course, normally when a Shoid falls in the boy, you're responsible. But it fell on top of you, the guy who's actually digging it. And the animal killed the person, potter. The owner of the animal is potter. If as a result of that the shor died, and the shor died because of the hole you just dug, then Yoshe Habal, because the guy died, the heirs of the husband, the owner, Abalaboy Chayavim have to pay the shalom to make sure the Baal have to pay to the Baal. Now this is a milva peh. Right? This is a milva peh. Here, the guy died, he was digging a hole, he died because the shor fell in and crushed him. And not only is the owner of the shor potter, but this family has to reimburse the owner of the shor because the shor died. The shor died. Now the chayil is a milva peh, and the Yoshim are paying. You Rabbi Shmuel said that shibud is not from the Torah, and you don't collect money from Yoshim by milva peh. How come you collect over here? Before the guy died, they had a din Torah about this cow that died, and therefore, once it's a din Torah, it's as if it's written in the star. The bezin paskin has to pay, and that's why it's a milva b'shtar. A milva b'shtar, of course, even if you hold shibud alav the rice, a milva b'shtar you collect from the heirs. But it's clearly here that the guy died. He didn't really die. Also treifa. They rendered him a treifa, which means he has 12 months to die. But halachically, he's a dead man walking, and therefore, because halach is dead man walking, we call him haragai. But the bezin paskind, and you have to pay. From here, the Rishonim learn out that if a guy cannot come to a din Torah, he can send a representative. It's as if he's dead already, so somebody is also representing him. Nachman, Tony Tana, Mace. Nachman said it says in the B'nai Mace the Kavara. The guy who was digging the hole, he was buried by the shor that fell on top of him. In other words, there's no tray for here. He's dead. Why are the Yoshim paying? Why are the Yoshim paying? It's a milva peh. They didn't have a chance to do Torah. So I don't know what we're talking about here. This is amazing. While he was dying, no, they brought him quickly over the bezin. We got to take care of the situation before he dies altogether. Wow, full of compassion here. While the guy is dying. The guy is dying, that's all we can do, yeah. Okay, that would be sitting over there. So they didn't stop him from digging the hole. I mean, let's just come over right now. Says the Gemara, Papa says a little bit differently than both of them. He says, Hilchasa, milva al peh goyvim, and a milva al peh you collect from Yoshi, which l'chayri would mean he holds shibud of the rice. And he says, no, You know why? Takanus chachamim. The ain't gave lekuchas, but you don't collect lekuchas, which sounds like because you hold shibuda lav the rice. And the more explains. Goyim and Yoshi. You know why you collect the Yoshi? Not because shibuda the rice. Maybe shibuda is not from the Torah, but you know why you collect the Yoshi? Because nobody can lend money. What if the guy dies? That's it. My loan goes with him. I want to make sure I get paid back. So therefore, we made a special takana that children have to pay out the loan. But you don't collect the lekuchas, not because shibuda lav the rice. Even if you hold shibuda the rice, the less they color. We're doing that to protect the lekuchas because people then wouldn't stop buying. So the Papa is not giving us any opinion here what he holds about shibuda the rice, but he's giving an explanation in each. Either way, this is the halacha because takan zachavim. So then the Mefoshim try to understand that what's the manach min shibuda the rice, shibuda rabbanon, and it's exactly the same outcome, and they come up with differences. But all the Rishai talk about that in Kedushin of your Gimel, Rapapa there clearly says why Goyim in Ayoshin Shibud Deraisa. A stira between Rapapa. So Taisa says, and says it here and in many places, the Gemara has this is how Gemara works. In one place they say maybe that's pshat, and one place they say this pshat. Like over here they say Rapapa never concluded his words. Rapapa just said the halacha is Goyim in Ayoshin. It's the Gemara filling in the blanks. So over here, we don't want to take sides because we have a machlekes shibud rashi rabbanon. So therefore, we make it work according to both. But over there, we don't discuss shibud rashi rabbanon. Therefore, Papa comes out. The Gemara says, other Rishonim say that there the Gemara is talking about a woman who died left behind a carbon. In the case of a carbon, Papa holds shibud deraisa. It's not like the case of a halva or other things where you created the chiyuv. Here it's a carbon. By carbon we say it's a special kind of a kedusha there that you have to pay. Other Rishonim say there it's a milva haksuv b'torah ksuv v'shtadami. That is a chiyuv that the Torah puts on you. We're talking about over there in the zikin. The Torah said that you have to pay. It's not like I have something between me and you. Anything which the Torah says you have to pay, that maybe everyone agrees shibud deraisa. Over here, we're talking about loans. Loans is questionable. In fact, Papa himself says, "Priyas b'chay mitzvah." Sounds like if he would hold that shibuda deraisa, if he person would hold shibuda deraisa, then what do you mean mitzvah? You pay him because it's not yours; it's his. Famous question of Chaim Brisker used to ask me to go and entry in his yeshiva. He said the Gemara says you don't pay for a mitzvah more than a fifth, or by his mitzvah more than a third, by mitzvah more than a fifth, you don't pay more than a fifth of the assets. So what happens if you borrow money? And the loan that you borrowed is equal to more than a fifth of the assets. And since Pri is B'chai Mitzvah, you don't have to pay more than a fifth of the assets. So if my assets $100 and my loan is $500, all I got to pay is $20. Pri B'chai Mitzvah. That was his question. That was one of his questions. A whole bunch of questions. And the answer is that he wanted to hear from the Talmidim was, when do we say you pay a fifth? If it's your money. Here it's his money. It's the lender's money. It's sitting by you. So it's not a question of a fifth or whatever it is that you have to you shouldn't pay more. Anyway, so therefore the Papa himself could be Hoshbud Lav Deraisa, and that's why the Machlekes and Poskim, but Allah Shibud Deraisa was Rabban. He produced an IOU. An IOU only entitled to the class of the Choshen, not from the Choshen Mishabadim. And there's no other aid. So you don't get for Shabadim. Why? Because the only time you collect from Shabbatim is if there was a star and Adim signed it. So there's a lot of coil. Kuchas can protect themselves. So you have two things: you have star and you have Adim. So therefore, there's a lot of noise. And therefore, if the Kuchas didn't protect themselves, that's their own fault. Mashenkin and IOU is you don't have that kind of thing. All you have is Xavier. Okay, there's no Adim, there's just an IOU. But what happens? They took this IOU, brought it to Bezin to certify that this is genuine. It's not a fraudulent thing. And the Dayanim signing it. Does it now transform? Does it now convert this into a real star that you can now collect the Chashish body? What would it then be then? Amalei says, even though there's a handpick there, there's a certification of the Bezin. You can only collect the Chashish. You only collect the mostly Rambam Chamba. So Rambam Chamba said, let me ask you a question. We learned in Gittin, we already just learned this a few days ago. Shloisha Gittin Psulim, that 3 Gittin, the possible, but if you did it, it's all right. These are they. Kasa Big Savioda, the husband wrote, I am divorcing my wife. No witness there at all. No witnesses. But he wrote that I am divorcing my wife. But he gave it in front of Eidim Masira. That's how the Rashbam learned. The other Rishonim holds that even if he did not give it from David Mesidik, remember going to Rameir here, you just gave a Xaviad, your own Xaviad, I'm divorcing you. Yes, no witnesses, man, there's no date, which we just talked about a few days ago. Yes, but man, there is a date, but there's only a single witness. All of these had a shlosh gidim psul lechatchila apostle, but in misas like kosher. But he did his kosher. Rabbi Loza says, Rabbi Loza, who doesn't hold you need Eidim Chasim, he holds Eidim Asiris, he could Afa Bishan of Eidim, Eidim, even though no witness is signed at all, but he gave him before Eidim kosher. The Goyvim and the Chasim Mishabadim, and you can collect from the Chasim Mishabadim as well. There's no Eidim signed in the star. And yet you gave it in front of Eidim, that's tantamount to having Eidim in the star, and you can collect the Chashibadim. So surely a bezin that's signed in the star itself now, even though it's a while later, surely it should now become this to have the state of the star and collect Shabbatim. Says the Gemara, what are you comparing? Shiny Hasim. There is different. The Mishas Ksivu the Shibit Nafshe. Over there, in the case of the get, that was the plan. The plan was to give it in front of Eidim Asira. The plan was that you were going to Mishabed yourself. So therefore, when the Eidim Asira saw, that's good enough. Here, you wrote an IOU. Then later on, you decided to go to Bezin to get it stamped. Therefore, it does not change it at all. Does not change it into a document called a star. Because this din, Rabbi Lezer, Eidim Shirakas, is not just limited to Git. The same applies to Star Halva, applies to every kind of star. Machlik is a sheni if the halach is like him. He hadn't Git Navov. The halach is like him only by Git, or the halach like him everywhere. That Eidim Masida is the main thing. But then if I start Halva, then the plan was to give him Eidim Masida, and the plan was that Achrai is Toy Sefer, that this Loiva is indebting himself and his assets. So that's different than over here when you do an IOU. When I do an IOU, I had no intention to, endear all my assets, encumber all my assets. If an Odav is signed before the Eidim signed, then it's part of the star. Then you can collect from the Chasim Mishabadim, from the Orev's Chasim Shabadim. The Orev is responsible. If he has no money, you can go to his property that he sold. If he was signed after the Eidim signed in the star, then all you can collect is from himself, and that's it. But Zimnin Amarab, another occasion I've said, I feel even if he signed, even if they wrote the Arab before the Eidim signed, ain't no goiva element of Chasim Nechayim. Or you can collect as a Chasim Nechayim as well. By an Arab, generally, all you can collect is a Chasim Nechayim. What's going on here? Before Rab said if he's part of the star, whatever's in the star is including the Eidim in the Arab as well, and the star therefore things encumbers his assets. So if he sells afterwards the Meshubah, same thing with the Arab. And now he says, no, it's not so. The Arab is different. Kasha the Rav, like Kasha. How the cost of by ploini Arab, depends if he wrote, this guy is an Arab, sounds like a new sentence. How the cost of by u ploini Arab. If he adds a verb and that conjunction of verb means that whatever is written in the star applies to the Arab. And the star is Achrai is Toy Sefer because it encumbers the assets, so too by the Arab. But if it's without a verb, it's like a new thing. And the Arab has a different din altogether. Rabbi Yechon disagrees. He says, in all cases, from Olav, you can only go to Chasm. Even if there's above, you don't go to the fields that he sold. I forgot the cost of a Pliny Olav. Even you write above, and the Olav has a different state, a different halacha, only to him personally. Freddy Gemarmasa, Rob, the question, so you tell Rabbi Yechon doesn't believe in this Vav business, that it changes around the whole shot, that it annexes the previous part to this part. That's the question. It says, Eidim hachasum minashi ilishon the get. Does it get? A standard get, and the last line says that we bade shalom to this and this person, and then right underneath that the Edom signed. The get is puzzle. Why do you get puzzled? How do we know what the Edom are signing to? Are the Edom agreeing with this guy of Delisha Shalom, or they're actually signing an entire get? They only signed on this last part. If it says only Sheilu, we ask Shalom puzzle, but if it says Ushilu with above, then kosher, because the and says the first part we assign to and we add this part. So Rabbi Yechon also agrees that and means it's a continuation. Hachanam kosher plainly Arif. One answer, right. We're talking about over here. When does Rabbi Yechon say that the Arif you can only go to the Nechayim if there's no vav? If there's no vav, which is like a Rav. So what's the machlek Rabbi Yechon and Rav? They're both saying the same thing. Without a vav, separate. With a vav, continuation before and the chasr shabbatim. But so you're right. Aim say not that Rabbi Yechon argues. The chain on Rabbi Yechon. Then Mishnah Ma'aseh about Rabbi Shmuel. There was a story. Rabbi Shmuel. So maybe Rabbi Shmuel that Rabbi Shmuel says that you collect from Chasam Nechayim, and that if the other's name is after the whole loan took place, you still collect from the other he's committed. And Bananas argued, and he said, "What if a guy is being strangled in the street because he's not paying, refusing to pay his loan, and another passerby says, 'Hey, don't kill him. Leave it to me. I'll take care of it,' and then he doesn't have to pay. So the same thing over here. You didn't lend money because of him. Why should he be committed at all? So the Gemara, Omar Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Yochanan, Afa Pisha Kilis Rabbi Shmuel bananas. Even Rabbi Shmuel praised bananas that he's such a genius, and if you want to know din and mammals, you have to be mishamish bananas. Halacha Kemoisa, the Halacha Rabbi Shmuel. He argues. The Rebbe explains in the Sikha. There's actually a beautiful had from the Rebbe Bava Basra. The Rebbe explains in the Sikha in Mashim Mishpatim that the Machlekes Rabbi Shmuel and bananas is why is an Orav committed? We had before Rabbi Ashi said, "Bahu ano." I know that you lent the money. So the Machlekes how to learn pshat. Some learn. So the hano is my commitment. It's like a kinyan. The hano is my commitment. And the others learn pshat that no. That like Yosef, a little bit, that the reason why I'm an Arab is because you prepared to risk your money because of me. So it's like I'm mazik. I caused you to give money to that guy. Because of me, you gave him the money. I'm responsible. Like a little like me, not exactly, but a little bit like it. So what's the more about the hano that I got? That is only used to answer the question that we asked, asmachta lekanya. The halach is asmachta lekanya, that what? If you don't really think it'll ever happen, I'm not genuine, so how come an Odav has to pay? He thought that the labor promised him will pay. Asmachta lekanya. So therefore we say, for that, because I'm getting hana, I'm happy to forego whatever the hana. So hana eliminates the problem of asmachta, but what makes me an Odav? What makes an Odav is the fact that you lost something. And that's the machlekes. According to Rabbi Shmuel, according to bananas, the word is that you that you spent money because of me. That's what the commitment of an Odav. And not in the case, the guy's being strangled. You lent him money a year ago. He refuses to pay. So therefore, or an Ada or an Odav afterwards, he refuses. You didn't spend any money because of me. Therefore, there's no Odav at all. But according to Rabbi Shmuel, the word is, I'm getting hana. That's what makes me an Odav. I have hana. You stop strangling him. Because of me, I saved the person's life. I'm getting hana that you trust me enough to stop strangling the leader. And that hana commits me to an Odav. So Rabbi Shmuel holds, you're still an Odav. That's how the Rebbe learns pshat and machlekes. We ask a question. The Chanuk, Malim Ishmael. What would Ishmael hold in that case of the case with the strangulation? What would he hold in that case? Okay, you talked about the Arav and on the start afterwards. What about the case of strangulation? Tashma. Tashma because Rabbi Yechon cholok Rabbi Shmuel Abba Chanuk and Allah Gemois Abba Chanuk. In every respect, Rabbi Shmuel continues to argue bananas, even though he's impressed with bananas as svara, how his mind works. That nevertheless he argues, as we just explained, and Allah Rabbi Shmuel and everything. I'm going to read Rabbi Shmuel. Who is the name of Shmuel? Chanuk, the Kanamiyadari. What happens? The case of strangulation, but the guy stepped forward to leave him go, let him live, and I'll pay. But the Kanamiyadari, we made a kinyan here, commitment. Mishtabed, made a kinyan, that's different. Miklal the Arab love a kinyan. Sounds to me, but a regular Arab doesn't need a kinyan. Upliga de Nachman. This argues Nachman. Nachman says, Arab the Bezdin love by kinyan. If a Bezdin is about to chase somebody to pay money, and this guy comes to the Bezdin and says, look, don't chase him. I'll take care of it. If he doesn't pay, I'll take care of it. And the Bezin stops chasing that person. That's when you don't need a kinyan, because such an unbelievable satisfaction that he gets that the Bezin trusts him. A Bezin trusts him. His credibility is unbelievable. You can walk around saying, this Bezin trusts me completely. So you don't need a kinyan. That itself is the kinyan. That's the commitment. But then you do need a kinyan. That's what it sounds like. That's a nachman. Gemara concludes. I'm not going to do the last line because I need it especially for time. If you don't finish, I'm heading time there. The hilchasa Orev b'shas matan moed loy boikin. Halach is an orev when if you become an orev at the beginning of the loan, you don't need a kinyan. That hana or the fact that you spent money because of me, that's the kinyan. Acha matan moed. If afterwards I decide I added myself as a guarantor, boy kinyan the kinyan. Somebody want to finish the thing? The last line.
Out of the base in Roy Boy Kenyan, he had not in the hand of the very fact that based in trusts him, go out from the that he'll commit himself.
So we say over here that an Odav after the Chitim starters it needs a kinyan. The Rebbe beautifully explains. The Talmud Yishalmi concludes the way the Rebbe learns Yishalmi, not like the Pnei The Talmud Yishalmi learns that you don't need a kinyan, even achamat much. You don't need a kinyan. And the Rebbe explains the difference between Etzisro and the Chutzlars. In Etzisro, the Eden are automatically. When did the Eden become Kishkosh? When did they become Only when they entered Etzisro. When they entered Etzisro, and suddenly that's when we all became one Metzias. And since then, it all became one Metzias. But in Chutz La'aretz, we're not naturally one Metzias. We have to do something to make us one Metzias. So Chutz La'aretz, you need a kinyan. If Achachinima is to become one, I'm becoming one with you because I'm an other, right? I'm becoming an Arab of you. I had to do a pool to make it happen. In Eretz Yisrael, there was Eretz Yisrael itself, the Kedusha Yisrael, is Ma'achid all the Eden. Therefore, you don't need a kinyan. Okay, let's